Hey, what's up, everyone? My name's Lionel. I'm your host for LT Productions, and you are watching I Watch You Watch. We are covering Beauty in Black. This is currently streaming on Netflix. The new B part of season 1 dropped on Thursday of this week. I appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Please like this video, and also you can subscribe. You can leave your comments below. This is 1B episode 10. So let's get into this episode. Okay, so Horace and Olivia, Olivia's in Horace's living room. Horace asks her, why don't you just leave? And Olivia says, I'm waiting until Norman gets here. They have this argument because Horace doesn't really want her there, and she said, that's my child, I'm not going anywhere, blah, 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 blah. Jules come in, and Horace asks, did you find him? Meaning, is it Norman or Vernon? Vernon, whichever one, Vernon. Jules says, no, but I have someone on it. And then Olivia says, well, they ain't doing ish. So then Horace says, well, you go find him. Jules goes outside and talks to Mallory, and she's like, hey, what's the plan? Jules says he doesn't have one. This is so bad right now because there's about to be an outbreak of war, as Mallory is saying. Mallory says, can't you find someone to pin this on? So at that point, they break up, so possibly that's an idea, but he still doesn't know who. So Calvin calls Jules. Jules calls Calvin does call Jules and says that the cops are at the motel. And they're saying, what is it about? He doesn't really know. He still has to ask questions, but he's just letting them know of what's going on right now. Then he asks, where is Vernon at? And Calvin says he's nowhere to be found. And if he doesn't want to be found, there's no sense of you trying to look for him. And then he says, all right, I'm on my way down to the motel. Kimmy and Angel, they're in the new car driving, and she wants to go back to the house, which I believe is Horace's house. Angel's like, you can't go back. And Kimmy said, call Jules if I can't go back there. Angel's like, say what? As we all are saying. Call Jules. I need to know where my sister is. And Angel's like, you cannot threaten him, blah, 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 blah. We don't have any power. Kimmy says, you don't have any power. I left my sister once, and I won't do it again. Now, if you are not with me, get out of this car right now, Angel. I'm telling you right now, I don't need no flip-flop, ASSBITCH. And basically says he's with her. Jules comes down to the motel, talks with Calvin, and Jules asks, is anybody talking? Calvin said only one person is talking. And they take him over to this guy named Debo. Jules questions him as to what was going on. Somebody was smashed and unalived with the car. And then he names Kimmy as the one that was driving. And he said, Kimmy, you know Kimmy? Like, yeah, I know Kimmy, blah, 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 blah. And Jules was like, well, what can we do for you? Like, we could put some money in your pocket and you can get high. Are you homeless? Da, 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 da. It was something that was alluring to him, and he ended up going with Jules. And obviously, there's greater plans for Debo. So Jules has instructed Calvin to take him to the house. Which house? I don't know. All right, so Horace, Mallory, Olivia. They're trying to get an update on where Vernon is at, and da 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 da. And Charles is definitely deceased. And Horace is saying okay, and Olivia's like, "Can you quit saying okay?" Da 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 da. So Mallory comes in, and basically they're arguing and stuff, and Olivia's like, see what you're in the middle of with this family? They're either going to make you a slave or a demon. So, well, she got that demon part. The slave part she'll never do because she's the apple of their eyes, according to how Mallory's playing things with this family. And I wonder why they can't see nothing. They're not suspicious of her at all. But, hey. And Olivia said, where the F is Norman? Or Vernon? Then all of a sudden Vernon comes in and he says, I'm here. Olivia said, did you do this? And Vernon said, do what? Did you kill Sorry, YouTube. Did you unalive my wife? So at this point, Mallory sends the butler and someone else to go into the stables at this point because it's about to be a war and they're about to tell some family secrets and all this good stuff to incriminate them. And Olivia tells Vernon, you know, I warned you about what you would do to my son. And then Vernon said, no, I warned you. Da 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 da. And basically, they just know that Vernon was the one to do all this stuff, and knows that he's a mean guy, a mean, vulturous person to do this. Their father was mean, and they always did. Oh, Vernon says, you know, I love my wife, and you guys unalived her. And this is when Norman says, you know, our dad taught us not to love. We just became greedy, and da 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 da. SOBs who don't know how to love. And she said, I love my wife. Well, she was a mail-ordered bride. I said, oh, okay. And he's still saying, Vernon, that I loved her. I said, oh, okay. So then all of a sudden, through all this fighting and commotion, in walks Charles. Everybody looks like they've seen a ghost. So I am alive, blah, 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 blah. Olivia's happy, da, 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 da. Vernon asked Charles, why was your car seen at the tow yard of where the body of my wife was last seen at before she came to the hospital? Charles said, I don't know. And Vernon says, you see, your child is alive. And Olivia said, the attempt is all I needed to come after your sorry ass, basically, you know. I'm paraphrasing. I said, Lord, all of this happened so quickly. Oh, you gotta stay tuned. You gotta stay tuned. So in walks Jules while they're still arguing with Debo. And he pins everything on him as far as trying to take out Vernon's wife. They made up this AI video to make it seem like they were the ones that ran her over and all this good stuff. I said, Lord Jesus. But he came to rob the house, and that's how things happened with the wife. And Vernon says, you know, I want to take care of him. And Jules says, no, I can do it. You can't get your hands dirty. They go outside. Now everything is done and we're good and clear, right? And Vernon said, no, I will tell you when everything is done. And then he gets in his car and Vernon leaves. So Mallory and Jules, they come together. Mallory congratulates Jules for this plan. It was brilliant. And Jules says, well, you better do the same thing for this lawsuit. And she says, I'm working on it, da 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 da. So Kimmy and Angel, they go to Kimmy's mom's house. It's like a trailer. And she gets on in there and she confronts them about, you sold my sister. And the mom is denying it and all that. And they got this car out there that is worth more than this trailer. And she knows that they did it. Then her boyfriend, the mom's boyfriend, says, no, I bought the car. And then she says, Ninja, you aren't worth anything. I know you didn't buy anything. You sold it. So then they get to tussling and all that. Kimmy had the advantage for a second, and then he came back and threw her around the house. I said, Lord. I think Angel stayed in the car at the time and was talking with Rain. And Rain said, Angel, go in there and help her. Because he does not let up whatsoever. So Angel goes in there and he breaks up the fight. He brings out the shotgun and swears he's going to blow up him up. He lets her go and then they both leave. But before she leaves, she does say, what did she say? Did I write it down? No. I'm going to get you if it's the last thing I do. And she said that to the father. But put your mama in there too. Because your mama didn't care nothing about you. Sorry. What do y'all think about that? Because no. Get her too. So the next day, Horace goes and sees the judge. I think his name is Harold. He asks the judge, you know, what's going on between you and my brother? Nothing. Why would you say that? Da, 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 da. So Horace is like, look, I know something going on. So take this box. It's a box of cigars. But then there's a red one up in there. And he said, don't take that cigar, take the red one. The red one is dynamite. Harold, or what's his name? Horace says, take the dynamite and put it in your mouth. Horace lights his cigar, and then he says, you know, I could really just light this up, and this could be the end of you. Then he ends up, because he knew that Horace was serious about what he was saying, he ends up telling Horace, hey, look, Norman purchased a strip club and a few car dealerships to wash some money. And Horace said, how much money did he make? And Harold gonna say, a few $1 million. And Norman said, you really want me to sit up here and to believe that he only made a few $1 million out of this whole situation? Then Horace stabs his hand. I said, Lord Jesus. What did they daddies do to them? Because they are crazy. Ooh. So Calvin and Jules, okay. Oh, Calvin, I think, calls Jules and asks Calvin, is it done? Meaning about Debo. They say yes. He says yes. And then Calvin says, Delinda is gone. And Jules is like, find Kimmy. There's something going on with her. So, this is still the next day, and Horace and Vinroy have lunch. He wants to talk about what's going on with the will. He also says that I hate my effing sons. I said, Lord Jesus. They're ungrateful, spoiled, and didn't want to do anything with their lives. And he's so disappointed in Roy. So he tells Vinroy to look at his father's will again. I need to find a way for my money to not go to my sons whatsoever. Vinroy, I think his name is Vinroy. I think I'm saying it wrong. He says that there's one stipulation as to where you can actually give your money to in your inheritance is if you are married. And he said, well, that's a long shot. And Vinroy was like, well, no, you don't have to. You're still young. You could find somebody to marry, da-da-da-da-da. And he says, you're too busy trying to kiss my ass. I need you to be real. That's not going to happen. But then they have decided to meet later so they can talk about the will. Kimmy and Angel. She wants to go to the motel. And Angel said, are you crazy? Of course she is. He says, no, you're not going back to the hotel. And then Kimmy said, well, then let's go see Rain at the hospital. They go up and see Rain, and Rain is asking you different questions and just want to know how much does anyone know about what you are involved in this at all. So Rain says to Angel, go to the club and see what's happening. Angel follows that rule. Mallory and Roy, they're back at the office. They start off the conversation, and then it leads to who they are having sex with. Roy starts it off first today. And Mallory says, my man. And then Mallory, as he's trying to put more pressure on her to talk, she says, do you kiss and tell what you got going on? And Roy says, I don't kiss my HOESs. I said, okay, sir. So then after they were done toying with each other, I'm really confused as to their interest into whom is having sex with whom. It's not making sense to me. Does anyone else get it? Because I don't whatsoever. So Roy is about to leave the office, and Mallory says, where's my kiss? And then he says, I don't kiss HOESs. I said, oh, okay. So Calvin's outside the door, and Roy ends up smelling Calvin, and he was like, so you effing my wife? What? Ooh, no, sir. Do you want to? No, sir, absolutely not. But then Calvin flips it and says, you know, I want you. I like your lips. I love your eyes. Look at me. At this point, Roy got aggressive because you know how homophobia is, and crazy dude. So I didn't know that would work for him, but Calvin was able to get Roy to back up off of him. Crazy. I think Angel I forgot there was something about the police. But anyways, next thing you know, Kimmy's at the hospital, and Roy calls her saying that he needs to see her, and Kimmy agrees to doing that. There was something that happened with Angel, but the aftermath doesn't happen until the next episode, so I don't even know why I wrote down the whole police situation. But I'll be able to fill you in on the next episode. But I appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. It's gonna be a little bit of a long ride. I'll be dropping episodes here and there throughout the course of the week, probably next week also. I'm taking my time, but every episode is so wild. Get into the season. I mean, this back half, all you getting is action, 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 and it's keeping your blood up, your blood pressure up. So tell me your thoughts. Please, if you will, please like this video, share it, and also leave your comments below. Until the next one, peace.